Wait.
Ah. Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat, Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. I should say right off the top that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you viewers, but you are family. And I said I would share the link yesterday. I'm going to play it by ear as we're not on here long, but we'll see what happens from here. I got a couple of things that I need to cover in regards to this topic, but I'd like to say again, thank you to everybody, and also to my moderators. You are the best to ever do it. So thank you for holding down the comment section. I love and appreciate you for that. Today, we're going to be talking about Trump finally putting a bullseye on the backs of Blacks after a white woman unalived in North Carolina with a question mark, right? I want to make sure I emphasize that with a question mark, because we're going to break that down and we're going to come to some sort of conclusion as whether he did that or not. So I'm going to show y'all a video of him talking about it. Now, obviously, Donovan and I talked about this earlier, but we're going to have a live conversation with you from Trump's point of view, right? Because as I alluded to in the last video that we did earlier, that Trump talked about it, but he really gave it a good conversation from his desk, right? The Oval Office. And he said some things that were kind of concerning, if you will. And I'm going to talk about some other things. I'm trying to string some stuff together. FBA Queen, thank you so much for the membership. Love and appreciate you for that. So Donovan, what say you?
What say I? Welcome back, you guys, to the Demetra K Show. We are not live. If you missed our podcast earlier, you can go back and check it out on the replay and the whatever else you're going to do with that. Welcome back. It's 3:00 here in California. That means it's Demetra K time on a Tuesday. Again, you guys, thank you guys for all that you guys do, for have these great conversations. If you guys want to buy Demetra K a cup of coffee for her efforts to have these great conversations, there's ways you can donate. It's not red, but today it's blue and white. You can donate by Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and cash money orders, however you guys want to do it. She does appreciate coffee. Demetra, you do drink coffee, I'm very sure, sometimes, and even a tea. You guys
every
can do
day.
That. Every day. Okay, so you guys want to do that. And coffee is, I believe, $8 now. So I don't know how you guys do it.
The kind I drink is $100 a cup.
Gotcha.
I drink my coffee from home.
Gotcha. But also, do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. Exclusive content is being built on that application, Emancipation Channel, and there's going to be videos that you guys don't necessarily see in your YouTube algorithm. But do us a favor. It is absolutely free, you guys. Hit that like button on your way in. Share this on your platforms and in your groups, and let's get this message out, because the elections, the midterms are coming. And again, you still got some people that are asleep, that still don't get it. They're just stuck in their ways, and they're voting against their own interests. Also, be aware and mindful. October 1st, if you have friends and relatives that are receiving Section 8 food stamps, there's going to be significant changes to those services. Please do not sit on your bums and hopefully it'll skip over you. You're sitting there praying, oh my God, it'll skip over you. If you got relevant stuff, you need to go and tell them, get prepared, get ready, because you don't want to be, your kids are hungry and you go and get embarrassed and your card ain't working, or you get evicted or whatever. October 1st is the deadline. Things are changing. So again, I'm just putting that out there for you guys. We really appreciate you guys to join us on these great conversations, because guess what? It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. And I was trying to find the woman's name. I totally forgot her name, and I don't want to be remiss in not mentioning her name. So give me 1 second. See if I can find it. Ooh, here we go. Let's see. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Donovan, can you
meantime, one who cares, welcome back. Donovan, who makes the show, welcome back. My brother DC Buckhorse DC, welcome back. Buckhorse DC is in the house. Mike Nice, Troy Scott, David Williamson.
Was with the foolishness talking about Donovan make the show. That's enough. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding.
Michelle W., welcome back. Jesse Paris, known as Jake Nkrumah, welcome back. And who else? Chalk Chick. Welcome. Go ahead, Dimitri. You got it.
All right, sorry about that, y'all. So anyway, as you guys may or may not be hearing a lot about, again, Donovan and I covered it earlier on our podcast where we were not live. Y'all can check that out after this show. But if you've been on, especially X, right, there's been a lot of conversation about a white woman. She's 23 years old by the name of, I just saw it, Irina, I think that's how you say her name. Irina Zurutska. She's Ukrainian, right? So she was to death on a bus in North Carolina by a black man whose name is DeCarlos Brown Jr., right? Now, this happened on August 22nd. She literally was sitting on the bus. He got on the bus and he was sat behind her. And I didn't watch the whole video because I'd imagine it was violent, but they said it was blood and all kind of stuff dripping everywhere. Okay, so from that point, them folks on X and social media have been losing their minds because they're talking about the mainstream media wasn't covering it because if it was a black man, a white man that did that to somebody black, it'd be all over the news, right? The liberal media, blah, 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 blah. So then you have a whole lot of people getting into the conversation. Of course, Elon Musk, who owns X, he's been tweeting about it all day for the last couple of days or so. And then, of course, Trump got into the mix. So I'm going to show y'all a video of him that was released today from the Oval Office. And he really had a lot to say about it. And then I'm going to show y'all some other videos because some other stuff happened as well. So here's Trump.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people, really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities need help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again. And that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe. Thank you.
Okay, so let me remove him. As y'all heard, Trump did not mix his words, although he did not name us specifically. We know that he was talking about us. So he used some words. As fact, he says savages. What else did he say? Savages and thugs, killers. Called the guy a deranged monster, which I would agree with that. Again, as I said on our last show podcast, I haven't seen any Black American anywhere agreeing with what that guy did to, Irina. That's her name. Nobody's agreeing with it, right? We also know that that Black man will pay probably also up into with his life, right? There's no mistaking that. Nobody is cheering that on at all. But for whatever reason, them folks, including Trump, they're going to die on the heel of savages, right? That's what they think about us. And he also says that we got to stop this from spreading. We got to fight, meet force with force or something like that is what he said. Of course, he talked about DC being crime free, which is not, right? But he says that it is crime free due to him federalizing it and all this other stuff. Okay, now there's some things in the news that I'm wondering if them folks are going to even talk about at all. Right now, I strung together something that we learned of today. And then something that happened last Friday in the Bay Area of California. So this first clip that you'll see happened in Washington State. So here we go.
have arrested a 13-year-old boy. They say he was planning to open fire at a school outside Seattle, and what they've now found inside the family home. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, police in Washington say this is the arsenal of weapons found in the home of a 13-year-old boy who they believe was planning a school massacre.
This was something major that was going to happen.
The young suspect appearing in court today pleading not guilty to multiple felonies. In charging documents, prosecutors today pleading.
I just want y'all to see what color this boy is, right? He's 13. Does it look like white hands to y'all unless he's very super light-skinned like Michael Jackson or something like that? I just want to make sure we're clear as to who this is, right? And I also want to ask, did y'all hear about it? I'm going to continue.
Not guilty to multiple felonies. In charging documents, prosecutors say the teen had written multiple threats on social media, sharing photographs holding semi-automatic rifles dressed in the attire of past school shooters. One post saying in part, "My time is almost here. I hope I kill you all."
It was very obvious. It was a matter of time before people were going to be hurt.
Authorities claim in his room they found a gas mask and a backpack full of ammunition, including several AR-style magazines which had writing on them referencing mass shootings.
And David, police tell us they seized nearly 24 weapons from the suspect's home, and they say many of them were 3D printed and untraceable.
Okay, so this next thing you're about to see happen in San Jose, California. As you can see there, there's a older gentleman. He's at the counter. This is a jewelry store. And never mind, this man has no shirt on. I don't know why everybody keeps making a big deal of, oh, why didn't he have no shirt on, right? He's in his store, so he could probably have no shirt on. Don't look like they were open, right? Nevertheless, what you're about to see is a very extreme smash and grab, and then we'll go on from there.
A car bulldozing into the Kim Hung jewelry store in Eastside San Jose on a Friday afternoon. At least 17 people stormed out of cars and smashed cases, taking jewelry and knocking over the family's business owner, an 88-year-old man.
Okay, now pay close attention. I know it's kind of small, but look in the eyes, the masks of these people. Those aren't black people, right? I don't know, San Jose, so they could be Asian, they could be Hispanic, but they're not black people. Now, are there some black people there? I don't know, but from the ones that we see, they are not black, okay? Now, I blurred it out because what they did to that 88-year-old man was heinous, right? They shoved him to the ground. In fact, he had a stroke after that, and they said that he is recovering, said that it caused like $50,000 to $100,000 worth of damage. Of course, y'all saw they rammed the car right into the building to get in there. And y'all saw what they were doing. Now, I'm bringing all this stuff up here in just a few of these situations, right? Let me take this down. This is just a few situations. But they calling us savages, right? When I say they, that is the president. We know who he's talking about. Now, I also want to say this because it's got a lot of moving parts, and I'm going to give it to Donovan in just a few. Okay, it's got a lot of moving parts. As you guys may or may not know, the Epstein estate released a whole bunch of stuff, right? And they gave it to Congress. And amongst that was a birthday card from President Donald Trump. He wasn't president at the time, but I guess for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, and I won't show it to you guys. You guys have probably seen it, but it's a depiction of a naked lady, I guess is what it is. And there's some really weird inscription on this, right? Now, it's a photo. It's like a silhouette, if you will, of a naked lady. So it's kind of drawn, and you can see that she has boobs. And then Donald Trump's signature is supposed to be her, let's say her lady parts down there, right? Of course, he in the White House and a whole lot of other Republicans are saying, oh, that's not his signature, it's forged and things like that, right? So, of course, under the video that I showed y'all on a lot of social media posts, people's like, okay, yeah, great. And a lot of people agree with him, but a lot of people's like, yeah, but what about them Epstein files, right? So, of course, when you see President Donald Trump doing that, putting a bullseye on our backs per se, it is a smoke screen, right? It's a diversion. So now we can talk about those Negroes, right? Y'all, because y'all notice every time they release like the Epstein stuff, bam, he going into Chicago. Bam, he going into DC. Now, bam, he going to, North Carolina where these savages are running loose. And we got to meet force for force. So what he's doing too is feeding red meat to his base, right? Because it's really his base that's like, nah, we like you and all the stuff you're doing, the racist stuff you're doing, but we just don't like the PDF file stuff, right? We need you to clear your name. So again, in my opinion, I think he's doing that. Now let's have the conversation because I think we need to concede some of the things that he said. Okay, now I just lost my spot, but let me see if I can remember the stuff that I wrote. So basically, he said that these judges, right, and DAs and things like that in these blue cities, Democrat-ran cities, they do have where it seems to be kind of lenient on criminals. So let's say like Houston, they're notorious for giving low to no bail amounts since there was some bail reform a couple of years back. And a couple of other blue states like New York and different things like that. They basically low to no bail, which means they say, okay, yeah, you might have murdered somebody or whatever it is, but we're going to let you out on bail or a very small amount. And so in this case, DeCarlos, that's the guy's name, sounds like he had been in and out 14 times. Now they're saying that the judge and I guess the mayor or whatever it is, they were okay with him getting out, things like that. Now it also should be said that the bail reform took place because black, and they say black and brown, so just that I'm saying that for statistical purposes, black and brown people were sentenced or given higher bail amounts than their white counterparts, right? So that's why the bail reform came into place. Also, on the other side of that, they don't talk about the over sentencing that happens with black people, right? Black people are more than likely over sentenced or overcharged. Let's start right there. Overcharged than their white counterparts, right? We've seen black, let's say men, get charged or overly charged for the same crime that a white person would have done, but the white person gets a, right? We have cases where there's black people in prison for the rest of their life for the same thing that a white person did, and that white person didn't even see the inside of a jail at all. So you got both sides of the conversation. So while Trump is up there, fanning the flames and feeding red meat to his base, he also needs to give the other side of the conversation of why there needed to be bail reform in the first place, is because black people were overly charged and a whole host of other things. In a lot of cases, Khalif Browder is another perfect example. Then I'm gonna give it to Donovan. Khalif Browder there in New York City, he was a 16-year-old that was charged. He was accused of stealing a backpack. He did, I think, almost 3 years before he even seen a judge or anything like that when he was finally let out. But they don't tell the story of all the things that he went through. And then, unfortunately, he took his own life years later. But he was his family could not, I think they couldn't meet. I forget what the bail amount was. It was low, but they didn't have the money. But he never even went to court or any of that kind of stuff. They kept him there in Rikers Island. So Trump needs to be honest in his reporting per se and give both sides of the story. But I want to ask you all, do you guys feel like, one more thing I almost forgot, because I feel like I need to play this because this is the kind of the warning to us, and I played it before, but I'm going to play it again and I'm going to give it to Donovan.
Tell you something. My brothers are in bad shape. And I have warned all of you. I told you that the army was coming. I told you to get your act together and clean up your act, because they're coming with a mind to slaughter us. Have I said it? Not just for a year, but for 3 decades. I have been warning you about the government of America planning a war, not only with a Muslim overseas, but with black people and the Nation of Islam in America. Have I not done that?
Okay, so I removed that. I just had to put that up there because the other side of that is too, we've been warned. I'm not, because I have to put that because there's some things that we do, right? We don't police ourselves as much and check ourselves with the debauchery that we do in our own community. So as you said, I tried to tell you that Trump was coming. Of course, that was when Trump was in office the first time. And here we are, him calling us savages and, things like that. So Donovan, what say you? Then I'm going to get into the comment section. Now, listen, I'm going to have to start at the bottom because I know I'm so far behind. Hey, Easy, how you doing? Donovan?
All right. Welcome, you guys. Well, what can I say that hasn't already been said? You did a magnificent job of the videos and everything like that. But when hasn't a target not been on our backs? Whenever these politicians get in trouble, what is their go-to plan? It is part of the playbook in politics. You use the Willie Horton type situation. You blame a black man. Anything that goes wrong in this country, you blame a black man. Oh, the breakup of the family. Oh, you take the black man out of the family, the community, and the black especially the black community, crumbles. Now the solution by some of these politicians is, oh, we're gonna reintroduce the black man into the family. Oh, so you take the black man out of it to create the problem, and then you want to put the black man in to fix the problem. This is all a part of the gentrification of America and community neighborhoods, especially in black communities, right? Gentrification cannot work when you take a part of it out. If there's no violence, gentrification doesn't work. If there's no drugs involved, gentrification doesn't work. If there's no prostitution involved, gentrification doesn't work. If you don't have bad schools, gentrification doesn't work. If you don't have guns and violence and just, whatever, it doesn't work. This is how you get the black people to move out of their neighborhood so that the developer could come in and buy the land on pennies on the dollar. Look at Harlem. Look at South Central Los Angeles, Compton, and those places, parts of Chicago, how they're moving the black people out and replacing them. This is a ongoing type game. And again, I know how you guys get tired of me saying Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird using the propaganda. Again, you want a distraction? Blame a black man. Oh, a black man did this. Oh, we've got to pay attention to this, white folks. It's red beef. It's red meat to their base. The Willie Horton. It's just the Willie Horton all over again. You get the white people, the base, so ginned up about black people and what we're doing. But yet statistically, there are more crimes done in this country by white people than any other group that's here. But of course, like I've told you guys, and you've got to accept this country whole foundation is based on the black man being at the bottom. And as long as we're at the bottom, life is good. Life is good for them because everybody eats off of us. Notice like right now, all these Asians being deported, right? Again, they're being deported, but who do they call to help them? Black people, black people. Now, in the case of this lady being, murdered and in a situation like that, that's one incident of that. How many incidents of white serial killers do you see them talking about on the news? Almost, you never hear about it. It has to be this extraordinary white serial killer that they have to bring out because it's just too obvious to try to hide this stuff. But I'm with Demetra, and I'm with a lot of you guys. We are smart enough to know this. Those files. And let's be real, you guys. We know Donald Trump is in those files. We know Bill Clinton is in those files. We know Hillary Clinton is in those files. All of these rich people are in these files. Now, why is he not releasing them? Because it's people in Hollywood or wherever else that they're trying to protect. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. Again, political theater. But let's hear what you guys have to say about this. It's the same game, it's just repackaged and repackaged. But at the end of the day, you blame a black man. How do I know this? What did the Asians do after we voted so that Joe Biden could give them, even though we didn't vote for it, but Joe Biden gave them a crime bill? How did they get that crime bill? They blame a black person. Oh, we're being attacked by these black men. We're being attacked by these black men. They got a crime bill and full protection of the United States government. But when statistics show, their statistics by the FBI show that black people are the most attacked and the most hated in this country, no bill. Nothing done to protect us.
Absolutely. And I see a lot of y'all mentioned the Dakar Thompson, the sister that was taken out of here by an illegal, immigrant. Sounds like he has some issues they knew about and they kept, ignoring it for lack of better words. But yeah, you don't hear that. Get a lot of conversation. And as I said earlier with Donovan and I, when we were talking, there are people, unalive sisters all the time, right? They chop heads off and body parts and all kind of stuff. And, they have to find out if they gonna find them guilty. Of course, we know what's his name? He was Nigerian, but nevertheless, a white woman took him on out of here, right? And it took them a long time to pick her up, then she him as well, but so I don't know. But again, I think a lot of what Trump is saying is, all right, I'll sacrifice the Negroes, sacrifice them if I could get the scent away from me, right? Because they own his behind that, Epstein stuff, whatever case. I wasn't there. I don't know what he was doing, if he was doing anything. The speculations that maybe, right, that he was. But of course, that birthday card comes out and people are like, yeah, you're not going to tell me you were just out there having a little cocktail or whatever the case is. But yeah, so I'm going to jump in the comment section.
And real quick, remember that white woman, the Emmett Till white woman, they knowing that this woman is, complicit in this man's death. Again, if you're driving a car and a murder happens, everybody that's involved is supposed to get charged. But they let this white woman go to her death, knowing that she was implemented in Emmett Till's death. This is how they get down.
Yeah, and you got to remember that was under the Biden administration where they was like, "There's nothing here." She said she didn't do it. She said she didn't really mean to say that in that book, right? Richard, how you doing? Says look like a bunch of Serranos rather raided an Asian jewelry store in San Diego. So it was not San Diego's San Jose. Up north. So usually there's a lot of Asians up there. It was an Asian community. And they were all speaking out, the politicians and things like that. But it was like, that didn't look like no black folks to me. And we know there's not a lot of black people up there. Not saying that they wouldn't do it, but there's not a lot of black people in Northern California or California in general. Again, not saying that would mean that didn't do it, but we saw who it was, right? And they talking about they ain't caught them yet. You have their license plates and all kind of stuff, but you ain't caught them yet. DJ, how you doing? Says you had old Obama bringing down the country and all black faces going after Trump for the past decade is now the flip side. I'm not sure how to take that, but okay. Brother Stephen, how you doing? Tell your wife we said hello. Let's see. Demario, what's going on with you? Says good information. Well, thank you. Let's see. William, how you doing? Says why target individuals to lose life? And I'm not sure what that means as well. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's me. Brandon says these people have forgot what United States did. People cannot play dumb. Well, again, see, listen, one thing about us, we're going to be all right. We always have been. Well, we haven't always been. We're going to be all right, right? We're resilient and all of that. That's what they do. They try to sell black people up the river to cover up the stuff that they've done. And, Trump is like the black people are just collateral damage. Right now, we know that was one black person that did that to one white woman. It wasn't all black people that did that to that white woman, but we also know, unbeknownst to that of Ben Shapiro, that white people harm black people more. Right? They'll never have that conversation. But as long as we know the truth, but we're here answering the question as to did he put a target for real, right, on the backs of black Americans, and did he do it to save his own hide? That's the question, right? William say crime is going up. It depends on who you ask and where it's at, right? They say crime is going down in certain places or whatever, but it's still high, regardless of if it's going down or not, right? You don't want to be on the side of the crime that's still there. Anyway, Princess Aman, how you doing? Says he really said DC is crime free, but my ex is out free. Therefore, ain't no way, right? And a lot of people say it's crime is still going on here, right? I saw a video of some white boys that was pew-pewing at each other in Washington, D.C. like a week ago. I ain't seen that spread all over the news nowhere. It was like flat out, it's as plain as day. They were fighting each other and one let off some pew-pews. They gonna talk about that. Black American Expat, how you doing? He says Chicago, Obama's from Chicago, and we know he hate Obama. Also, he won a Nobel Peace Prize like Obama, so he takes it out on Chicago. Hence the word peace, right? You got wars going on all over the world, and got National Guards in DC and all kind of places talking about. He put up a flyer. Apocalypse now. It was a play on Chicago and Apocalypse. Now with him in army fatigue, and he's basically saying we're going to war, and people are like, yeah, on the city in your own country. So how do you want a Nobel Peace Prize, but yet you talking about war?
Right. Let me ask you this question real quick to me. I know you got to get in the comments because we want to get our guests, our co-hosts' opinion. But how do we know? Again, they're saying it's a black man, but how do they know it's a black man? It could have been a national Caribbean. It could have been an African. It could have been a Haitian. It could have been a Dominican. It could have been. We're delineating now. So do you guys see how they're spinning all of this? How do we know it was a black man. I mean, just like, again, incidental that we all have the same color, but are we the same people? No, we're not.
Let me just write this down. Hell. Well, to answer your question, and Hal, let me answer your question first. The only thing that gets me is the fact that there were 5 black passengers sitting around this girl while she was dying and no one lifted a finger to try and help. Yeah. And there's no law saying that you have to be a good Samaritan. You have to help. There's no law at all. Now, I guess the moral thing would be to do that. But hell, they sit around and watch us, be unalived all the damn time. There's a lot of people who sat around and watched Jordan Neely on that subway in New York City, and they didn't lift a finger. In fact, the fingers that they did lift was to take his life. So I don't want to demonize them, because I don't know how froggy I would be if I seen somebody, going Michael Myers on somebody. You know what I mean? So I don't want to put the onus on them. And Donovan, to your point, as far as, whether they're Haitian, Nigerian, whatever it is, one thing we always got to keep in mind, white supremacy, and this is what the Nigerians and the Haitians and the Jamaicans need to learn. White supremacy don't make the difference. They don't say, before I string you up, are you a black American or are you Nigerian? They don't care. They see us all as black, right? That's the memo that we haven't gotten. But we play these little silly games. Oh, I am not black. Or, this, that, and the other. But white supremacy is like, you black enough, right? So, yeah. Let's see. IW, how you doing? Says they were only going to come no matter what. They were going to come no matter what. We actually do remember, even when we comply, they still would always fear for their lives. Then some of them fear for their lives, but some of them use it as an excuse, right? Now, some of them fear for their lives because they know what they've done to our lives, right? And as I said earlier, what you put out, you have to get that back. Bro Dim, how you doing? Says nobody tooled the man out of the house, bruh. I'm not sure what that means. Naima, how you doing? D Brown says get the black man out of jail first. Okay. E Hall J, I hope I said it right. How you doing? For Kwan, what's going on with you? Long time no see. Says Trump is not doing anything. Black men haven't already seen black FBA men, especially the young ones, are always the primary targets in war. Yeah, but you got the president of the United States up there calling people savages and things like that. And it's like, what we never gonna forget, right? And I think they know, but they forget is who the original savage was. Because y'all watch those Western movies with the cowboys and Indians, right? They called the Indians the savage, but the Indians never went and took land from nobody, right? But Hollywood called Indian savages so they can, it seemed like they riding into the sunset on a horse, a cowboy, which they stole that from us. Let's keep it a buck. The original cowboy was black Americans. Anyway, yeah, they like to run around calling everybody else a savage. It's like, you sure you want to look in the mirror when you saying that out loud? I'm just saying. Princess Imani says, I knew that was going to stop happening when farmers kept saying they are scared to go to work. I'm like, the ones who don't want to leave are going to start stealing. And which farmers are you talking about? Because I know them farmers, they really having a time. Mike, it says the same thing Hillary said, calling, yep, our people super predators. Tasha, how you doing? Tashava, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Let's see. Johnny, what's going on with you? Skip down because I know I'm behind. Common Man says it's a no-win. Demetra K, you fight back. The criminals can send you to jail. We don't fight back. We have major crime in our neighborhoods. We can't fight. Sorry, we can't win for losing. Nah, they're trying to incite us into some nonsense. Obviously, if we really do the math, we are outnumbered, outgunned, and all of that. But to your point, it'd be better off for us to try to get our own communities together, as we've been told to do. But we're not going to let them folks trigger us. We're not, Now, the other thing that is, if he's putting targets on black people's back, don't get mad when black people start saying, oh, I was standing my ground. You know what I mean? So yeah, Kevin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Marjorie, what's going on with you? Who haven't I seen on here? And I see your comments, but I want to catch up because I do not want to not see anybody. FBA Justice, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for that. So you said, so I guess defense is the only answer for black Americans. We could walk on water. There's no difference in white races look to harm us. Yeah, and I should have read your comment, right? See, they're thinking this is back in the 1800s, right? Where they could just do whatever they want to do to black people. And we just, oh my God, I'm gonna run for my life. See, there's a lot of us who don't cut like that no more. A lot of black people like, if you take my life, you take my life. But guess what? I'm not going by myself. You know what I mean? So you ain't dealing with that no more. And they know that, right? But it does their heart good to call us savages. But it's like, come on now, y'all know who the real savage is. Ridge, how you doing? Says call for segregation. We need our own town. Yes, that's another thing. Now these white folks, we're getting our own town. We're getting away from y'all. We got black fatigue. And it's like, when nobody's trying to stop you. The problem is when Black Americans say we want to get away from everybody else, then that's when y'all come meddling, right? Y'all send y'all woman over there to get in the way, and then some black man get accused of doing something to her, and then y'all strike a match and say, I knew it. I know you were doing something. And now, also because they jealous, right? They don't want to be away from us. They say that. They just don't want us to be in their neighborhood, but they want to be able to, squirm their way into our neighborhood because they just can't stand the thought of being away from us wonderful, beautiful black people, period. Slammer, what's going on with you? Says Trump plate is full. It's like 50 billion illegals in the country, right? Well, right now they on his orange behind, right? So he got to kind of like, okay, we got let's throw some black people under the bus. Savages? You think that'll if we call them some savages? Yeah. You call them some savages. But I still see them people like Greg Epstein. Let's just talk about Epstein, though, because we saw that little nasty little, picture that you accused of. But that's their nature, right? If y'all saw it, it's like, that's a birthday card to you? Using your signature to draw her little. All right. Ricardo, how you doing? Thank you. Let's see. I'm going down yonder. Well, not yonder. Darth Raider, how you doing? Says they ignore their domestic terrorists all day long. Like I said, I highlighted that 13-year-old white boy who was about to have an OK corral at a school in Washington State. Matter of fact, as they said, he had all the posters of all the OK corrallers, if you will, on his wall, and had all this art. So I had to blur it out because we get in trouble for showing stuff like that. But it was a whole bunch of pew-pews, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me his mama and daddy, because usually they have a mama and a daddy. Mama and daddy never walked into his bedroom and saw posters of him idolizing these mass shooters, and he was talking about doing the same thing, but ain't nobody doing backflips over that, So we're gonna call it out. All right, let's see. William says, own a life is better than Jesus. Not sure what that means. And FBA Queen says a white boy just unalived 3 Ethiopians, no big news. No, I ain't gonna talk about that at all. Marjorie says we just need to continue to expose the truth about everything they do, flood the mass medias with their crime stats, SA, drug arrests, domestic violence, child trafficking, predators, etc. You know what? I hear what you're saying. I don't think we should waste time doing that. They know who they got. They know who they dealing with. We don't need to remind them. They don't care. If they cared, giving them a simple reminder of who they really are by nature, they would have cared years ago when they was doing it to any and everybody on this planet. Is who they are. You're not going to guilt them into stop doing what they're doing. They know, right? They know, but ultimately, God has a final say so, and they know that, right? Which is why they try to out-legislate the will of God. Well, we're going to change all these laws and do all this thing. You could try, but you still got it coming. You got it coming, right? So it's just funny to see how they think they're in charge, right? Jay Legend, how you doing? So the same thing has to be done about homicides amongst Black Americans. Unfortunately, yeah, we got to have that conversation too, because as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, it says every Saturday night, another video, every Saturday night, we taking each other's lives, and we don't want to have that conversation, right? Negroes, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Easy said the victim said today they have their own list of Epstein colluders if they do not release the list. Yeah, but my thing is y'all should have showed up to the podium with the list. What's taking y'all so long? Which I'm kind of like raising my eyebrow about those ladies. Not saying that they're not victims, but damn it, I'm bringing the list with me because ain't no telling if I'm going to make it back home alive. Because one of the other ladies allegedly took her own life.
Well, what about the main chick that died under mysterious circumstances?
That's what I'm talking about. That's the lady. Virginia somebody, I forget her name, but yeah, she ain't here no more. Flashback, how you doing? You says the curse is broken. Anything they even try to do to us will backfire. Come on now. Sevenfold. If this is a nefarious plot, it will come back on them fast. If you know, right? That's why I'm like, why are we sweating? Why are we, relax. God is in control. See, can't say that you have faith and then worry. Trump is a man. He is the president of the United States, but he is just a man. His powers do not go past his pen or whatever the case is, right? He is still just a man, and they run around. You know, he wants to make it to where you have to pray in school and all that. So we know that, you know, he's a big time Christian. I'm saying he's saying that, right? So if he's truly reading the Bible and he believes the stuff in the Bible, he knows that he is just a man and he does not have the power. They know that. And we know that. So let's stop biting our fingernails off and run around here like Chicken Little. The sky's falling. They know what they got coming to them. They know. Trust me. They know. But you're right. All right. Common Man says, I believe the parents of those girls were down with the nonsense. They were just as guilty. They had to know, but no one's saying anything about the parents. And I'm not sure which girls you're talking about, so forgive me. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? And Kim, you says, we should expect hate from evil. Nothing has changed. Patrick, how you doing? Says, if a black man actually did do that on a train, look staged. I see a lot of people saying the stage. I don't want to go off on that narrative that is staged or is AI. They're saying it happened. They know who the lady is and things like that. I just don't want to get into that because in essence, you know, we do what they do. Oh, George Floyd, he wasn't killed. George Floyd, he was on drugs. So we don't want to get in the mud with them. Now, is there a possibility that it was? Sure. We weren't there, but it doesn't sound like it was. And I don't want to do the same old stuff they do, right? Because they have to resort to just lying on everybody to, again, absolve themselves of the guilt of the stuff they know they got coming. So, yeah. Common Man says, Epstein had the parents help. I mean, they might have, but even still, right? Even with R. Kelly or whatever the case, if the parents help, the kids were children. Everybody needs to go down for the count, right? The children are innocent, regardless if Kermit the Frog, you know, Miss Piggy and her mama helped them. They were still children. I know you're not saying that, but I just kind of want to make sure we're careful. Ernest, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Howie says, that's right. Black folks should have at least tried to help her out. Do white folks try to help us out when they see us? How many white folks ran to George Floyd's defense and tried to help him? How many white folks ran to Emmett Till's defense? How many white folks ran to any of our defense? How many white folks ran up into those slave shacks when Massa was putting his little pink Vienna sausage where it wasn't supposed to be? How many good white folks ran up in there? Y'all always want black people to spring into action. Hell no. We're not doing nothing else no more. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying anything should have happened to her, but y'all not going to put that on our backs when y'all sit up and co-sign the debauchery that y'all do to black people all day long. Like I said, y'all sit up and watch a whole lynch and there's postcards of y'all as a black man's feet is dangling. Y'all with your babies, y'all daughters, y'all watching a black man burnt to a crisp and you talking about what we should be running and doing? Next time you smoke something, homie, you need to cut it in half. Don't tell us what we need to be doing when your people was running around and you got a good rope. Because if you don't, I got plenty. Shut your mouth. Respectfully or not. OG Tony, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Astro, what's going on? He says, laugh out loud. It's an FBA. His name... It's an FBA. His name, clown. I don't even know what that means. Says his name is DeCarlos. I know some black American men with, you know, names that ain't black American. And honestly, what's a black American name? I'm just asking. Because, you know, we name our children stuff like, what'd you say, Donovan, Shaquaqua, Buick, Lexus, and all that kind of stuff, right? We know we've been robbed of knowledge itself, because I doubt very seriously, even when we are native black Americans here, our names weren't Ashley. Was it Ashley? Was it Mary? Was it Bob? So what's a black American name, if y'all don't mind me asking? My name is Demetra. It's actually a Greek name, Greek goddess. And I'm not Greek. Shit, I'm black. Anyway, Dear Self says, I'm just exhausted of black folks being sitting ducks because his name is DeMarcus. That's an FB name. I think it's Carlos is his name. But, you know, like I said, I mean, we got all kind of names. Tammy, how you doing? Says they only see black when it's convenient. Yeah. And it's convenient for them all the time, right? Ruth, how you doing? Says, quit lying. That's all you do is lie and stir crap up. I will pray the Most High is going to deal with you. God hates lies. So you're going to be on his hate list. You definitely lying to people. I'm thinking, give me a moment. I'm thinking 5 times before I speak because what I want to say, I know my sister gonna call me and say, Demetra. Should have bought a Honda. My mouth is like, say it, say it, say it. But my sister, she will be upset. She's like, you're not supposed to talk like that, okay? You're not supposed to talk about people's relatives, okay? So I'm not. Anyway, that really took me a lot not to say it. The outsider sport. How you doing? It says we're all the same problem. Is that it says the problem is that we don't think that we are. I mean, we all are a problem. Yes, that's true. Dearness, how you doing? It says there's nothing like Democrats speak about nothing. There's nothing the Democrats speak about the many Black people disappearing or in the communities, especially Southern rural. I doubt that Blacks are going into Southern states in rural areas, snatching up and disappearing Black people. Right. You know, they just all of a sudden just came up missing. Right. Donovan, I think you frozen. That's okay. He'll be back. Frank, how you doing? Says that's not good. And he ain't helping. He's hurting America. So you're talking about Trump. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Marjorie says there's a lot of people who have Black American names and pretend they are FBA and aren't. That's true. You know. Al, how you doing? Says Donovan, my mom loves you and hates the phone ring when you were speaking. Well, she's probably mad at me now because Donovan, I don't know if he froze up, he clicked off, whatever it is, but he'll be back, right? Patrick Tyler, did I say hello to you? Now it says the BS in Charlotte ain't got ish to do with Chicago. Nah, but you know, Trump is like, I can blame the Blacks and they'll stop focusing on me. It's like, yeah, you can, but everybody's still going to ask about the Epstein stuff. And it sounds like most of the Republicans is like, yeah, about that. We're not going to really focus on that. Now we just going to pretend like it's not here, right? And Astro says the Carlos Brown is an FBA name. Cut it out. I don't know what the man is. Easy. Says Target's been on our backs. That's why staying strapped and exercising situational awareness is paramount. Yeah, stop being out in them streets, right? You just have to be a little bit more careful now because people are crazy everywhere. D-Mac, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Princess Iman, did somebody say something about Diddy? Lala says facts. They were waiting on a reason. Crime been an issue in these cities. Oh, yeah. One Who Cares says most lawbreakers are the ones who make them laws. Did y'all hear about the he's a senator. I don't know if he was a state senator. I think he was somewhere in Virginia or something like that. You know, his nephew did something real horrible to a kid, right? Something he wasn't supposed to be doing. And that senator, lawmaker, right, dropped the age of consent in that state to absolve his nasty, funky nephew of what he did, so he don't have to be labeled a criminal. So yeah, you're right. They make the laws to benefit them, not us, right? There's never benefited us. It's all for them. Gary, how you doing? Says if they are criminals, he can lock them up along with the illegals. I guess he could. Frank says if you make somebody homeless or go hungry, what do you call that? Aren't complaining but hungry, starving people in Gaza. You know what? You put your toe a little too far over the line with that one, but we here completely. They don't even hardly talk about that no more. There's a full-fledged famine and genocide going on over there, and nobody say nothing about it, right? But that's the nature of how they think. So let's see. Got 10 minutes left. Derek says free R. Kelly. Now see you gonna get in trouble with that one. You're gonna get in trouble. Skipping down just to see who I haven't seen. Original people. Bantu, how you doing? Says oppressed groups are interesting. Indians have the caste system today. Black people got tribalism, even African Americans. Some are FBAs, ADOS, Israelites, etc. Yeah, I personally don't participate in that. I see it. I just don't participate in it. I do believe in a delineation. I think that's important. But yeah, when it goes into, you know, the tribalism per se, even though tribalism is in Africa, right? All over the place. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but are we delineating because we love us, or are we delineating because we hate them? And I think that's really what the conversation needs to be. Why are we delineating? And I think a lot of people don't even know. Just don't want to be like you. But is it self-love or is it hate for everybody else? And I'm just asking questions. Carrie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mr. Real Talk, how you doing? He says, what up, FBA? Who else haven't I seen? I see your comments. Angela, how you doing? Says, how can Devil Trump, of all people, call people savages, evil, born to commit crimes when he's the epitome of everything evil? Well, you know, they don't like to look in their mirror. For whatever reason, does not reflect them. It reflects everybody else. I mean, that's how they're able to justify the things that they do to everybody else, is to pretend that it's not them, it's everybody else, right? Everybody else is the savages. It's not us. We're not the savages. We're good Christians. We're the party of Christian values. And now, you know, they want to make everybody bow down to the, you know, Christianity and force people to pray in school. It's like, well, what God are y'all praying to? What Bible are y'all reading out of? All the things y'all got going on, what Bible are y'all reading out of? And if do you want us to pray to the God that you pray to? Like, honestly, do they really want us to pray to the same God that they're praying to? Because it seems like the God they praying to ain't the God we should be, you know, worshiping. So I just be having questions. FBA Justice says, Demetra and Donovan, two dynamic YouTubers. Thanks for putting it all together for us. Oh, it's my pleasure. And, you know, we're having a conversation. We learn from you as well. I'm assuming that Donovan, something happened with his internet. Of course, he's going to blame the system. Oh, it's the system. And I'm like, dude, you got to, you know, what is it? The oldest computer you can think of from 1979, and you keep piecing it back together. I don't know what to tell you. Branding says, Vladimir Putin, he don't have no problem with us. He want the other people. If they were by themselves, it would be no talking. Okay. Skipping down. S. Drayton, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Pop in the building. Did I say hello to you? Said this is why the sun hates them. They buy a lot of sunscreen. Yes. Yes. A lot of sunscreen. Who else? African Native. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mad Dog, what's going on with you? Tracy, you say because there isn't going to be a list. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These women talking about they got the list. Are they going to get together at Starbucks somewhere? I don't know. And they're going to put a list together. It's like, y'all should have been had that list together. I'd have showed up to the podium like, and here go the list. Okay. Oh, we got the list together. And as I said yesterday, like they did on Superfly, he's like, yeah, I put a contract out on you. If something happened to me, something gonna happen to your pretty big-legged daughter, right? That would have been me. I'd have showed up with the list. It wouldn't have been, well, we're gonna get together and nah, because we know how y'all get down. People be coming up missing and stuff. Renz, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. African Native, you say he is mortal like everyone else. Yeah, Trump is a man, but that's everybody else worshiping. Oh, you know, he's a man. Dear Self says, I don't care about the lists, files. They are all creeps and worse. He says, us knowing about it isn't going to change anything. They will still be in power, living file. I want to separate from them all. Yeah, like, what are we really going to do, right? They know that, you know, I don't want to say they know, but allegedly he's been on the island doing some freaky things, allegedly, right? I don't know. But if they do prove that to be true, what are they going to do about it? They're going to make excuses like they've done right before all the other times. Like they've done, well, like I said, when they was creeping up in the slave shacks, they made excuses, right? You're my property. You're not a real person. You're property, right? So nothing's changed. They have not had a change in moral compass, if you will. Sandman, how you doing? Says Trump put target on black people. Why is that? Well, if you watch the video in the beginning of it, you'll see, and I know I'm terribly behind. Isaac G, how you doing? It says two great respect to you, to doing God's work during the good fight. Well, thank you, and thank you for being here. Albie Chill says, I read a book called The 12 Caesars by Michael Grant, and the very things that are happening now were the same things that were happening then. Their history is full of debauchery. There you go. I should have read your comment. Ernest says, I agree strongly with Strom Thurmond, rather, you meant segregation now, segregation forever. It's just too bad they did not follow through with the idea we should stay armed and ready for whatever. Yeah, he was right. He's a big time racist and he wanted to be away from us. And, you know, We want to be away from them. So yeah. Tracy says it didn't look like it was AI. Yeah, it looked like it was AI to me, but you know, like I said, I just don't want to be doing the same thing they doing. Pop says, how do we know that the white girl didn't know that, brother? She could have been one of those. They like to drag their teeth. What? Says, you know, we don't know like that. Well, even if she did know him, did she deserve that? You know, as I said, we got to be careful. We don't want to get into the mud with them. Nobody deserves that to happen to them, no matter what color they are, right? So we don't want to be like them and making excuses for debauchery, right? Because we know if that had been a white man, that's a white man that did that to a black woman, that's the stuff they would have said, well, what did she do? Because, you know, they always doing and saying something. She probably deserved it. Then we have a GoFundMe, you know? So let's not try to be anything like that. Lady Wrightmore, how you doing? Says the Ukrainian woman had a Black Lives Matter poster on her wall. The irony, yes. So, you know, white folks are having some sort of a, you know, tug of war within themselves. Do we defend her because she was for the Negroes? I don't know. But they got to use, listen, as I said earlier in our podcast that Donovan and I did, they don't care about that white woman. They don't care about her at all. You know, they're just using her as a symbol of hate. This is another opportunity to blame the Negroes, right? They care nothing about her. But yeah, they don't like the fact that she was saying Black Lives Matter, whatever. And unfortunately, a Black life, if you will, took her life. So yeah. Skipping down. Yes, Brother Easy, the pink Vienna sausage. God, am I that behind? 540D. How you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to go all the way down. JJ. You know, we ain't got no sense. Thank you, D. Ernest. I'm just skipping down. I didn't realize how far behind that I am. FBA Justice, once again, thank you so much. It says Black people don't owe anyone anything except a whooping. Yeah, we don't. Like, people want us to go run into burning buildings. We're done with that. You know, facts, not feelings. How you doing? It says peace and love, family. It's not our job to say the Ukrainians they let their dogs on the train to escape the war and told blacks to get off at gunpoint. Show did, and then wanted the the Africans that were there. I think they were Nigerians or something like that. They wanted to throw them in the war. They're like, I didn't come here for that. I came here to go to school. Or they're trying to force them to go to war. It's like, hold on, wait a minute now. That's not why I'm here. But you're right. They wouldn't even let them get on the train for days as bombs were dropping. They got all their people out of there. So, Makiba, how you doing? It says, be unapologetically truthful. You got to, right? Absolutely. Let's see. Tears. How you doing? It says, how is Trump putting a target on my so-called black back? Well, if you watch the video, you can, extrapolate that, if you will. Maybe he's not. I don't know. It was a question. So, Brother Salam, how you doing? It says, I have a black Muslim name. Yes, you do. Big Rich, how you doing? It says, they have no culture. They need us. They can never let us get out of their sight. They'll go crazy. Exactly. But they talking about we want to be away from you. It's like, sure you do. Sure you want to be away from us. Yes, JBWR, absolute madness. Easy said that's what they do always. Move goalposts when they're about to go down. Yep. So we're not going to get excited about any of that. It's their playbook per se, right? Duragiesic. I know I said that wrong, but how you doing? It says in America, a Ukrainian refugee is considered more of an American than non-European citizen. Oh, absolutely, right? And they brought a lot of them over here. So yeah. Rex, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says, I'm here late, so I'm backtracking. That's okay, but you're here. Common Man, he says, I'm African-American, point blank, period. Dimitri, yeah, you can call yourself what you want. I always say I'm black. Some people say, you're not black. Okay. Rex, you say, by the way, them folks are quick to blame this black man, but don't want to say nothing about their judicial system letting him out. Come on now. Right, because black people didn't build the judicial system. Now there's some judges that are black and DAs. It's like, okay, well, let him out. I know it's his 14th time, but we'll let him out. I don't think he should have been out, especially if he has mental issues. You needed help. So yeah, Brenda, how you doing? Thank you for that. And back at you. Skipping down because I overstayed my welcome by almost. Beverly, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. D-Max says, listen, there's no need to be offended if you know it doesn't pertain to you. The old saying, a hit dog will holler. You ain't lying. Julius, how you doing? Says, we will boycott our African brothers and sisters, but won't boycott the Asian and Arabs and Indians. Yep. You're absolutely right. We need to rethink the way we do things. No reparation, no vote. How you doing? It says we are ready. Yes, indeed. Going all the way to the bottom. Easy says D, when they show the list, they all better move together right to make them hitters work for it. Yeah, that's why I'm like, do you really have a list, or you just, playing with us? Going to the bottom. Phyllis Speaks, how you doing? Says, when have Black people not been a target in America? Always stop the Trump fear mongering. Do it what you will. I mean, I don't know if it's Trump fear mongering. I think the man called the savages, right? Who YouTube blocked somebody again? It wasn't me. Just want to be clear. Just going out to the bottom because I'm out of time, but I want to make sure I acknowledge everybody before I leave. Oh, I got to the bottom. Woohoo! Poppy says, how much y'all want to bet that Trump's daughter? I'm not finna read that. I'm not finna read that out loud anyway. Buckhorse says, we ready for y'all. Yep. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know what happened with Donovan. I'm sure it was a power outage or something like that. But anyway, I will be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time. Do not be late for that, as I cannot wait to have a conversation with you all. I don't know what we'll talk about, but I know that it will be interesting. Deatrice, how you doing? Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your day. But has Trump put a target on our back? I think so, but I think it was self-serving more than anything. But as a lot of you already said, there's always been a target on our back. But again, when you have the president in his Oval Office calling us savages and things like that, I think he was very clear in what he was trying to do. Again, I think he's trying to save his own hide. Really don't think he cares about any of it. But he's like, okay, in my opinion, this is a great way to, throw the dog bone that way. So the dog goes that way and not focus on me, right? So yeah, and I appreciate you so much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is much appreciated. So anyway, I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of your evening. Peace.